Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of We Shot First, the Dawn of Defiance Saga Edition Star Wars RPG campaign. We are looking at... Geez, I've even lost track. Matt, what episode are we on? Episode 4.
953 million.
I think we have like 94 episodes up, but we are actually on episode 4 of season 3. I can tell because I changed the artwork. There we go. Changed the artwork here. Tonight, we might actually break into book 3. There's been some change around. Now, obviously, with these times, it's been harder to get some of these guys together. There's a little bit of shuffling going around, and we've been kind of doing our own half-baked story because some characters want to do some downtime and go shopping and want to go to their own personal mining facility and force me to do grumpy old people and buy droids and this and this and this. But now, we're getting a little bit back on track. So let me introduce tonight who we do have our hands on. Returning to the fold of Star Wars, 2 characters and players that I'm sure you've missed for the last couple games. We have playing our emo Jedi, the Padawan on the run, the guy swinging an axe, better at playing it than he is swinging it. Mr. Aiden Willems is in the house tonight.
Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Hope you are well, sir. We hope all of your friends and family are safe and staying inside. Now, luckily, we are an online podcast, and we have been trying where we can to put up extra content, but a lot of it's kind of recorded off of live stream just for several reasons. But tonight, we are streaming live. It is Monday night. It is 7:30. It is 7:30-ish EST, and we are streaming live on Mondays. So if you're not listening to this as a podcast, you can. We hope you do. If you're not watching this later on our YouTube channel, you can, we hope you do, catch us live Monday night. Interact with us live right here at www.twitch.tv/GMS cut. And you could talk to us live while we're playing. Be a happy distraction, as it were. Moving down the list, you know him as probably the funniest and grumpiest crew member, the guy who took underwater camo to the stars. And I've got a new miniature just to reflect that. Frank Hamilton is in the house tonight.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Playing Old Man Zin. I know she got some new artwork for Zin. That looks really dope.
Thank you. I wish I could credit the artist, but I can't. It's just a random clip that I found. Yeah, so if you can find out who did this, thumbs up.
Oh, I noticed you don't have it as I dropped the info in, but it didn't pop up on screen. Of course, we can't play Star Wars without our fearless pinstriped leader, playing Rahaul Oberus, man of many talents, scoundrel from the Separatist side, noble. Well, he's more of a businessman than actual nobility. He makes his money in any way he can, and right now, he's checking up on one of his investments because we are on the planet Bandameer and looking at a mining operation. Matt Witt is in the house tonight.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Revising his role as Haas the Cyborg. Maybe he's been compromised. And possibly working his way into a new character. Our 5th wheel, 6th wheel, 7th player. The guy that's always just happy to hang out here. Does get a lot of mic time. The guy we need is a pilot that really hasn't flown much, but gets blamed for all the accidents that happened to our car. Mr. Joe Gibson is in the house tonight.
Hello, hello.
And possibly he is right now sitting in the wings. We have a cameo from the Simply Second Edition podcast, one of the auxiliary Age of Ashes vodcast live stream members, but he's going to be a bit of a surprise. We get to him, we'll drop him and introduce him then. Ryan Messina is not with us tonight, so I guess you're going to have to rely on good old TP, the 501 series droid, Mr. Witt, for your personal protection.
No problem.
So,
I got this. This is just business anyways.
and we're also short a doctor. So, without Messina, without Tamlin, with a mystery guest in the wings, and 3 auxiliary cast members, or sorry, 3 auxiliary cast members and 2 stars of the show, let's see how far we can get here going. Now, secret messages. So, what can we do to get things pushing along? Let's say that you guys return from your shopping trip. Because at the spaceport in Bandameer, you guys went off, and our Jedi and our Doctor and our Sniper were all running around shopping and doing a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Nope. Jedi was with Rahaul.
Oh.
Yeah, remember the droid walked up to me, pushed me out of the way, and then turned around to be on Rahal's flank?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. So, Frank, old man's in. Did you manage to spend any credits? Actually, I believe we promised you a level because things are going to get nasty, and dragging a lower level character, I think he's earned it. We are using the milestone method, and we've lost some characters because it's probably going to be a while before we see Mr. Tamlin again. So let's talk about old man's in.
Let's see here. So I did take a level. Tacked on another level of scout.
Nice.
So that really doesn't, it's kind of a dead level, really. I mean, base attack doesn't change. I think I get, in additional to my saves, a couple of extra hit points. The one thing I did pick up was a talent, and that talent was kind of the Star Wars equivalent of moving silently all the time. So now
all
movement
the time?
yeah. Now movement does not affect my stealth score.
Ooh, that's kind of
So I can
Really?
take a full move and still stealth.
That is such a sniper talent. That is such a sniper talent.
Can
Yeah,
barely hear you there, Matt. Need to crank your level and bring it in a bit here. So it's kind of like the Pathfinder rogue ability where you could move full movement, so that 15 step, that kind of thing. Double moves.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But you're still making stealth checks like every 6 squares or whatever it is, or
Yeah, it's called hidden movement out of the core book, so I can move my full speed with no penalties to my stealth score. So that stacks really well with improved stealth, which gives me a bonus. Or not a bonus, excuse me, but I can roll twice and take the second roll. So if I roll really poorly the first time, I can just roll again. And then hidden movement is on top of that. And then if things get kind of ugly, I've got hidden attacker, so I can take a shot and then re-hide as a swift action.
sweet. Right on.
Nice.
So you've got, as a scout, you got the static. It's a D8, so they give you what, 6 hit points?
Yeah.
We gotta get you one of those repulsor lift things with just a bush on it.
You mean like a sled, and he just kind of like the hands come out and he just kind of tiptoes around, like just 2 feet out. There's just that bush is gliding. Pay it no mind. It has awesome stealth.
No, I wanted to
That's
give him
right.
like flight. He just like stays up and Overwatch, within his sniper range.
Paint the underside a light blue like the F-16s. Like it's just a cloud going by.
Is there stealth technology in Star Wars?
Yes. Dude, there's the belts that come out of the Kotar book, the actual stealth field generator. He could get like Predator and have that reflective mirror field where you just see the... Anyway, what am I going to tell you? No, you have to... Oh, very off-world. Technology died 50,000 years ago. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's not give him any ideas. Because he won't use it he won't use it for taking shots. He'll use it for fucking pranks on the ship. You wait.
I think Rahal's gonna want this guy with him on
There
the
will
Cloud
never
City.
be a toilet that's not left running if Frank has a stealth suit. There will never be a sandwich that doesn't have 3 bites out of it if Frank has a stealth suit. Like, you really want this kind of stuff to go down? I don't think so. Anyway,
Jay will never get a full night's sleep.
Dr. Leth.
Dr. Leth will never get a full night's sleep.
I actually really liked kudos to Jay's role playing where we just kind of forced the door open and you guys all just decided he was a doctor. Now he's a psychiatrist as well. Actually, didn't you say he had a doctor in that as well? Was it social sciences?
That's what he's working on, I think.
Yeah, that's his actual specialty.
Yeah.
The medical side is not his, except for, I guess, cybernetic surgery now. He's gotten good, but I think we forced that out of necessity. He's like, I don't know, these guys are going to need to start replacing parts pretty soon.
You're really, I know you got the most expensive mic in the house, but you're really quiet there, Matt.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the list here. Galactic lore. for those in the know, is pretty much your bardic knowledge of anything in the universe. How do things work, this type of thing, unless you're very specific on like culture, which is social science, tactics, which Ryan wants to use for everything, technology, physical science. So life sciences I took as biology. Where would it be social?
I think it's all folded into the same.
Would it be social sciences, like the analytical mind of a, I guess you can.
I think it kind of I think it'd be kind of a combination between social and life.
Yeah.
Because life would more address kind of the chemical, while social would be kind of the more, like social factors that affect someone's mind.
Yeah, I think so. So I think we're looking, if you guys ever try to, lay any random alien on a couch for other reasons, then yeah, social science is the rule. Just curious, I always find that the different systems, the way they lay out character sheets and then the skill groups, how that relates to whatever you guys want to do, I would find that stuff interesting. Anyway, Frank, so have you picked up a bonus feat? No, you don't get a character feat till, or do you? No, it's
I didn't get a feat. I got a trait, and that was the always silent
talent.
The talent, and that's it.
Or talent, yeah.
And then you get a bonus feat,
which is a cool talent.
It is.
You get a bonus feat. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get a feat next level, I think.
And you get a character feat like every 3, so you'd actually get 2 this time.
No,
not this time. Next level.
Yeah,
this was kind of a dead level.
Yeah, no, I get to 6.
Yeah, most kind of 5th level is dead level from what I was looking
There's
through.
like 2 charts. There's like your character sheet, which is like 1, 3, 6, and you get character feats, and they can be anything. And then you have these bonus feats that come out of a very tight list due to your character class, which is like always the very last thing written on in the book. And it's a very tight group of bonus feats, and you get those, and they swap back and forth every 2 with the talents. So every even number you get, right? Am I right here? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because when I'm right, I'm right. Okay, good. That's the way I remember it. But starting to remember things wrong. Okay, so you're all hyped up. What about base attack? What about
still at a +3 for base attack.
Okay. So relying on the scope technology, that's okay.
Yep.
You're not the only guy in the party that could barely hit anything. So
yeah, I'm working on fixing that. Okay, I slipped the old man a couple of credits and a small sticky note with a request on it.
yeah, you can get shit done when he gives in a sticky note, asking him
Exactly.
or just put
Well,
it on the upper arm.
I think Rahaul's going to head to town too because he needs to pick up a couple modifications for TP.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's assuming that you guys are rendezvousing at the spaceport. You guys have got resupplied, and now the fun shopping begins. So bring you guys all in together there, right? So we've got R4 watching the ship, and Dr. Leth finishes getting what he wants, his errands, and tells you guys he's returning to the ship, right? Merrick is usually hesitant to leave Rahal's side, but there's something he really wants to buy, and he won't be long, and he's going to leave you with the entire group plus TP, so he trusts you guys to look after his charge. And Merrick buggers off for a short while, leaving Zin and Rahaul and Poser and Haas in the spaceport. What do you guys want to buy? What are you guys looking at? What are we talking for mods here?
I want to equip TP with a translator.
So it can understand everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, does this model droid have a vocabulator, or does it just speak?
Does have a vocabulator,
so
yes.
he doesn't just speak binary, he can actually...
He's totally RoboCop.
Okay.
He totally is. Like, that's like... Murphy,
Yes.
So
I believe the Cylon line from the 80s was, by your command.
Sure. I honestly, I haven't watched 80s Battlestar Galactica in a very long time because the revamp of it was amazing.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that, but
It's good.
It's pretty good.
I'm assuming that sounds a little bit more droid-like than like the last session where you guys were all like, giggity, giggity.
Yeah.
Getting a droid to
So
Giggity.
two grand gets me a DC 5 translator. So it starts at a DC 20 at 200, 15, 500, 10, 1000, or 5, 2000. So I'm going to
All right.
splurge on the
Now,
better unit.
with us just coming off of a war, okay, times are tough. Prices may or may not be high. But instead of spending in another Tyrant session like meeting a deal and haggling and all this kind of stuff, I'm just going to ask you guys for some basic, persuasion checks, and you guys can aid another just to kind of make sure that you're on par with the book's prices. You know what I mean?
Sure. Of course.
Now, this is one of your planets where you have an inn with your guy. You could call him and say, where do I want to shop for this? You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
not
Do I get a bonus because of that?
No, you're gonna get a bit of a hand wave with a whole bunch of.
I got a 17.
Right. So do we have?
I'll take any aiding from anybody who's with me.
And what about
Everybody?
what about you get up to 2 aid another? But what about Poser doing the old? You want to give us stock market prices. You want to give us basic prices. You want to give us a discount. $20 is not 20 credits. Whatever.
Well, I was thinking that, but I gotta look up something first.
You don't want to draw attention though, right?
Well, no. So one of my talents allows me to use the force check as a persuasion check without actually using a force power. So come on, you can give us a better price than this at a 27.
Oh, did I say 3,000 credits? I'm sorry for the young, impressive specimen. Man, you look at the head on this guy. How many could you wear several pairs of sunglasses just stacked up? I kid. My brother-in-law's a Syrian. And you guys all know each other, right? 2,000 credits, of course, 2,000 credits, and on you go with your vocabulary. And we have a bit of a rinse repeat situation. Okay, so what else were you guys looking to buy? And I'm trusting that you guys, because I can always look up your characters, look for errors. What else do you guys want to buy for your droid? What do you want to buy for yourselves? Do you guys have a party loot for Zin and Poser to dip into here? Or are we just all running off of I know the doctors.
I've only got $2,000.
Yeah,
Okay, so
all
there
of
we I think we were going through the loot that we were selling last time we were playing.
Mhm.
So there should be a bit of a nest egg for the guys to tap into. I'm not going to touch that. I've got my own money, so I'll let you
Mhm.
guys share that out.
Yeah, you guys should have anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 worth of credits if you guys sell off. And again, let's have some persuasion. Not perception, Zin, this time. I'm looking at the rolls and it's like,
That's
wait a minute. I see a really good deal. No, Zin, we want you to talk to the guy.
All right.
He's looking through a scope, he's like, oh, down there.
Yep. Right there.
Half
I
off.
A
see
little
it.
bit worse.
Half
But
off.
17.
Okay. I'll be nice and say that, beating a DC of 15, you guys manage not to get ripped off for what you're selling. You guys find vendors and they give you, decent. Now, there's nothing in the books talking about post-war economic. We should probably call up our fans and say, Doug, is there something? Because think about it. Would it be in the beginning of the Rebellion era book, or would it be at the end of the Clone era book saying, post-war, blah blah blah, the prices, availability, blah, 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 type of thing.
Everything would be so much cheaper. So much
Yeah.
cheaper.
Oh, it's
No.
hard to get. Anyway,
And all restricted stuff would be available.
That's right.
on the
Yeah,
black,
I
on
think
the
I'm
black
Licensed
market.
stuff would be available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going
Yeah.
to need a sheet for this droid too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to find just some kind of like an old school shop, kind of more aligned with, classic, stuff like slug throwers and whatnot, and then go in the back, see if they have an old entrenching tool and pick that up.
And
Your
entrenching.
the folding shovel.
The folding shovel.
That's
Can
also
also be used as a pickaxe or even a makeshift hammer.
Oh, sweet! I have an open sheet.
Also, The wielder takes a -2 penalty on attack rolls compared to the -5 I take with my axe.
Ugh.
So 50 credits.
So you're gonna walk around with this awesome vibro axe, which you could play, but you go into battle with your shovel.
Yes. Yes. That
Cool.
is exactly it.
Cool. Why not?
Because
They
it's
call
easier
me
for me.
the
Yes.
Gravedigger.
Space shovel of death. No, this is good. This is
Classic.
good. Yeah, no, it's good. Good stuff. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I need to get some computer spikes. And those just grant you a +2 on your used computer checks. I think Dr. Leth wanted 1 or 2 of those. They're fairly cheap, pretty common for the simple ones, but you never know when one of those will come in handy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that's really about it. I mean, there were things like silencers and all kinds of stuff to just make gross even grosser, but I don't need it.
Now, what about a silencer and a pistol?
Pistols are still fairly illegal, I think, here. So if I'm going to shoot somebody, I'll shoot them with their gun, or have somebody else shoot them.
Okay. Fair enough.
Besides, my little holdout blaster, just pop a cap and then hide it.
Okay. We are streaming to Twitter, to YouTube, to everywhere. This is being recorded to be uploaded and a podcast for some editing. But I've run into shall we say, a slight glitch. We are going to have a very short 5-minute pause and be right back. So we're back. Okay. Got this sorted. Apologies. And now, Zin, you were talking about a silencer. I know you guys are in a rush to get off world and to chase down Darga, but they do actually encourage some downtime between adventures so that you guys can replenish, heal, recoup, resupply, because you just don't know what you're gonna get into. So if you guys were looking for something like a silencer on a holdout blaster, or
just something to make it a little more stealthy. Just because I assume in the city, no matter where you squeeze a round off, it's gonna draw some attention. So that's what I'm looking at right now, is just to see if I can find something like that. And then, do we know much about, obviously, if you can't, wield a bunch of heavy weapons, what's the armor situation there? Because, after so long in my nice Imperial armor, it's going to be hard to give that stuff up.
Okay.
So do they allow light armor in there, or what do they allow?
Matt can tell you what's going on years ago, because it's been a while since he's been there. So basically, how about you guys give me some galactic lore, and we can talk about the Cloud City of now.
Okay. I got a 22 on my galactic lore.
Can you make checks on trained knowledge?
General stuff. Space is cold. Specific stuff. This one world, this one city, this one thing. Probably not untrained, I would guess.
Okay. Well, got a 19 on the die to support, so bumps Zin's knowledge up to 24.
Sweet.
Okay. So let's start with what Poser knows is, do you guys remember where Haas told us this place was? Like way on the other side of the galaxy. Like this hut cut and run. Like way over,
Because we were out in the colonies, and it is literally on the outer rim.
Yeah, it's near Hoth. That's why they go there right after they leave Hoth for repairs, because it's not, so far away. So if I zoom out here, no, it's not 70 feet away. Stop doing that.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm saying from Cato Nemoidia to Bespin, it's just all the way across.
Yeah,
Because
you guys are
in the
you
colonies,
guys are actually up here in Bandameer now in the Red Square. You're like,
which is fair.
Yeah, you guys are way.
Which means it's 111 feet
right.
away.
But if you follow the Hyderian Way towards Zelzon Station, right, and then you get two choices. You can breach over to the Corellian trade route at the top here, and then come straight down it, or you guys can take the 409 and cross at the bottom, but don't take the 66. And it's like lots of line, but at least it's not in the middle of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? You guys have hyperspace lanes to follow, and that decreases your hyperspace time like tenfold. You don't have to make a whole bunch of mini jumps like you do in hut space or that kind of thing. So it's doable. Now, back to shopping, because you guys really should clear this up now. Any mods for weapons, any new gear going, hey, I always wanted to have synthrope because Poser has too much of it, or or that kind of thing. Like now you're at a spaceport in Bandameer and Matt has an inn, this place, so now would be your time. So if there's anything you guys want to buy, because you have credits.
Not really.
Okay, so back to Zin. Do you own a holdout blaster?
I do.
Is there such a thing as a silencer for an energy weapon?
That I don't know. I'm busy trying to look right now.
Well, you actually have.
I suspect not.
The ex-wife, this giant rifle you have, is actually, it shoots flatchet rounds, right? It's a flatchet thrower.
It's a slug thrower.
It's a slug. Okay, but I thought the rounds were flatchets, like those giant metal darts. I didn't think it actually threw bullets.
The weapon description says slug thrower.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was a flatchet thrower, and it's like shoots these giant darts. Okay, so you have a slug thrower, and this thing makes noise, right? And you want to get a silencer for it. Now, if you're old school, do you carry an energy weapon, or do you actually want to carry a slug throwing sidearm? These are 2d6 weapons instead of 3d6 weapons, and if you had a serious one like a Magnum or something, like a Desert Eagle or something like that with a silencer on it, it would be
I've got a backup weapon for like when we're not someplace where it's allowed. He's got a Merson 434.
Oh, okay.
The Death Hammer.
Yeah, those are cool. That's a great big space, ray gun, a great big freaking nozzle on it. Right?
The hose.
All right. I couldn't rule on that. Like even in every movie, like even guys that snipe with that cool sort of TV screen scanner that zooms in and they just right. The shot comes in, and because the sound doesn't travel as fast, there's that and it comes down. I've never heard of a silent. If you can find one, great. But I'm assuming you can attach or buy silencers for slug weapons. Your bang bang guns. So you want to grab some of those. Now, obviously, these are illegal, but with Matt's connections, could probably point you in the right direction. Or you could, ask, someone.
Well, that's what I was kind of hoping, is that we would have some black market gear available to us.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
not knowing how Matt's connections pull, I was just being a little conservative on that.
Okay. Well, Matt, why don't you go into your datapad Rolodex?
Alrighty then.
And we'll see who you could possibly talk to. Because your guy is like a businessman. He's a mining operation. He probably stays away. If there's anyone... Now, this guy doesn't work for you. I'm just saying someone that you might have had dealings with in the past that knows the black market. The gambler, smuggler, happy friend, frenemies. Some kind of frenemy that...
Gather information is 17.
Okay. If you rolled really high, you'd have the perfect guy. Guy loves you. Guy owes you favors. Guy sends you fruit baskets. That'd be like 25 and over. 20 would get you, okay, I know a guy, done deal. 10, hard. Setting the DC at 15, a guy that works Bandameer, but he's going to take some schmoozing.
I'm going to spend a force point, actually.
Okay.
just to aid this along.
All right.
So where are you? Add 4 to that, 21.
All right.
Take that force point off my sheet.
Okay. There's somebody, more of a gambler, but this guy does probably, if there's anyone that can get you a connection, if he's not out running the circuit, you know what I mean? There's an old guy, old buddy, old frenemy, Han to your Lando, Lando to your Han. You might be able to contact Rama Gilligar. There's a name and a person you haven't run into for, practically since the war started. He could be dead.
I'll give the rundown to Zin.
Okay.
Hey, Zin, I got a buddy. If he's still kicking around these parts, he can find what you need. But it's been a few cycles since I seen him. Kind of business he was in, I couldn't even tell you if he's still alive, but it's worth a try.
All right, yeah, I'll look. So what I'd be interested in is a flash suppressor for a slug thrower. It imposes a -10 penalty to perception checks to discern the direction or sound or spot the flash of an equipped slug thrower. It does impact the maximum range, but you can still work with something like that if you've got the right kind of weapon.
Well, Zin, you're a better man than I.
Okay.
You still giving your ex-wife gifts.
So you put in the call, right?
Yep.
And let's say because we're refueling the ship, like we're going to be on Bandameer for hours and we have days worth of trip, you know what I mean? Several hours later, your contacts get back to you. And yes, he's alive. And yes, he's on planet. That's the good news. The bad news is this guy has the gall to swindle like even hardworking miners out of their money. It's a bit of a rounder, if you know what I'm saying, right? After the war, everyone might be down on their luck. You probably would find him on the bad side of town, as it were, on the bad side of Spaceport, like the bad side of Bandameer, in one of these little, I wouldn't call it a town so much as the mining operations have sort of pop-up communities that move, right?
Yep.
So they'll build like a sort of like a little village that's
Shantytown.
Yeah, that's there for like a couple years, and they have people on site to maintain droids, this, right? And then there's people that see a whole bunch of miners that have nowhere to go, nothing to do, look for entertainment, and they'll either provide them expensive taxi rides from to an airport into a place where there's stuff going on, that kind of thing, right? And you have cantinas and you have hotels and casinos and that kind of thing, right? And the miners come and go, right? Anyway, so some of the less reputable ones is likely where you'd find this guy, because he's likely been kicked out of every casino and cantina on Bandameer for grifting, for causing trouble, that type of thing.
Yep. And just at a cursory glance, have we seen any Imperial presence here whatsoever? Or is this still kind of Wild West Bandameer?
Yeah, it's still kind of...
Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest we go back to the ship and strap up before we head into the shanty towns.
Is on a major trade route, and with the Empire closing in, right? You do see them, right? But they don't seem interested in, like, they've got people at the mining operation. They've got, there's troopers here at the spaceport keeping an eye on stuff. But more of it's sort of in orbit. You know what I mean? Like they might even have a Star Destroyer parked right here, because this is where Bandameer is, where two hyperlanes converge. So they might actually have part of the fleet parked up here to intercept. But as far as on planet, they just like look down upon you guys going, oh, it's a cute little mining operation, right? They'll have troopers and stuff at the port, that kind of thing. But not full military presence where you've got walkers walking around and, you know what I mean? But if you guys like lit the place up, they would let Bandameer look after it, and there'd be troopers coming in, right? If you guys blew the place up, they could have walkers on the ground, and, you know what I mean? Like they've kind of taken the idea where it's like their presence does not help the mining operation, where they feel the miners are already down and disgruntled and would just boo, you know what I mean? So they've backed off a step, but they're right there. They're watching, and the spice must flow, that kind of thing. But they could lock this whole planet down in the matter of 2 cycles. It's just
so there's tension.
Yeah.
But they're not like, hey, your land is our land, your stuff is our stuff.
Are there troopers in the port? Yes, but they're in pairs and they're like on different exits, and you know what I mean? It's like the odd mall cop you see roaming the airport when it's not locked down for what's the word I'm looking for? Military.
So
occupation.
we'll take our goods that we've acquired so far in the market back to the ship, strap up if we weren't already, before we head off into Shantytown.
Okay. Now, because they have a presence, your best deal is to rent a local speeder and just glide out there, as opposed to taking a ship, because that would be noticed. Your ship leaving the spaceport and just kind of.
Oh no, I wasn't going to take the ship.
Yeah.
No, knowing Rama Gilligar, he'd probably try and steal it.
Okay. So you get back to the ship, you brief everybody what the plan is, right? Load up a speeder, right? Who do you want to take with you? You want to leave? You want to leave Haas on the ship? You want to leave Jay on the ship, or Dr. Leth on the ship, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
Leth, and I'll send word to Merrick over comms to come back and keep an eye on things.
Okay.
I'll take the droid.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Haas can come if he wants. I mean, it never hurts to have an extra gun, because we're not flying anywhere anytime soon.
That's up to Haas. You want to stay with the ship, Haas?
But I'll take Zin and
Right
Poser
on.
for sure.
I will get the ship prepared for a hasty takeoff.
Because I'll have noticed in our last exchanges how adept of a negotiator this young lad has turned out to be. It seems that Rahal's rubbing off on the pointy-headed fella.
All right.
Also, you need walk-in music.
That's true. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Okay, so picture a speeder. The scene pulls out and shows not the ship, but the spaceport that your ship is in. And out of the side of the port, racing across the red, rocky Badlands, a land speeder transport, which can hold all of us, is just straight out to like one of the edge minings, little shanty towns kind of thing, right? Sure enough, beyond the spaceport, there is a community out there, and beyond the community is the mine and the shanty town. But within the community itself, where you probably find a lot of miners having their downtime, you go in there and you find, low rent housing, you find, cheap hotel motels, 20 credits is 20 credits kind of scenario. You find the odd cantina, and you guys start hitting those. Sure enough, you find a cantina that's called Aiden. What was that name? What was that name of that tool you just bought?
The entrenching tool.
Yeah. Called the Entrenched. Like literally just begging, miners to, and I don't mean aliens underage. I mean people that, put a little light on their head and dig things for money. Okay. Out front, you see a mosh of pack animals and light speeder bikes and things. You see guys in the sort of mining onesie overall covered in red sand stuff with the flip down blaster masks and this kind of like barely out of uniform work with giant great big gauntlets for handling heavy equipment, and they're out front just sitting on their bikes drinking and brawling and arguing, that kind of thing. And you guys head into town and you find a place that I'd like to say is, pretty rockin'.
Everything we hoped it would be.
Well, maybe not everything you'd hoped it would be, but definitely definitely something that you would expect in this area. And it's you guys walk in and the tunes are rocking. And as you guys pan around, let me just give you a little bit of the scene here. What you guys would expect to be a saloon of sorts in this cantina. You got some drunk aliens, you have all kinds of people that work for the mining industry, assortment of aliens or whatever, and these guys are riggers. These guys run the droids, run some of the heavy equipment and stuff, where a lot of the droids and stuff do the actual digging on Bandameer. So they they drive the droid or they direct a droid. So in our world, in a strip mine, you have somebody that drives those giant dump trucks. I actually have a cousin, and the wheel is like 3 times taller than her. She climbs up into this thing in Calgary and drives down to a strip mine, okay? Imagine someone up into like a control box crane who's in charge of like 8 of these, and they're droids. And their job is like a supervisor, right? They still get covered in the muck and mud. They still got to run down there when one of these things malfunctions or get stuck or give them some kind of menial task direction. But it's kind of like these miners. A lot of them are supervisors or people that take the heavy loads, and then they are the ones that get on the carts and things for some of the minute processing that happens right there mine side. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
These guys aren't pickaxe in hand. These guys are people that, just work the industry. Place is full of them. And there are people drinking. There are people, that have got alien girls dancing, and they're, oh, yay, throwing money, that type of thing. And there are people gambling. Can I have a perception check, gentlemen?
Maybe.
Perception of 28 for me. Do I spot my old friend?
Perception of 21. How good's the music?
Oh, good. I mean, it's got your basic Star Wars grind.
Got a 23 perception.
It's low key, just kind of a groove or whatever. It's mid afternoon, right, or late afternoon.
I guess that's fair.
Okay. So perceptions, we've got 28 from Rahaul, but we'll get back to you. Poser 21, Zin 23. Okay, so starting with Poser. Okay, not much of a band, more of an actual unit pumping out music. And they've got a couple of random speakers, right? As far as the entertainment catching your eye, right? You got a couple of girls at the bar and break, and you have like one girl on this tiny little stage doing the little Twi'lek dance, right? But she's just kind of like doing this kind of hustle. Think more of the Japanese hostess girl that sits with the guys and keeps them company and gets them drinking and talks and looks pretty and pokes and gets up with one of them, does a little shuffle. This isn't a peeler, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just a little, I'm sure that there might be some extra trailer companionship, that kind of thing going on, but on the table. But as far as these girls draw customers in and give the customers a reason to sit there and drink, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the female droids and the female aliens all look built in the right places, but they all look weathered and like they can handle themselves. Okay. Also, you notice they have a droid for a bouncer, and the actual cantina owner, right, is a very large alien himself. Okay. Zin.
Interesting.
Yes.
Scanning the room for trouble. Okay. There is only one person really paying attention to what's going on. They're in a corner near a gambling table. They have a assortment of weapons and stuff. They're kind of doing the desert cloak, like they've got the one sort of poncho with the hood up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, yeah.
But you see the weapon straps, you see the bulk of a weapon ready to go, you know, type of thing. And the most interesting thing is how wide the helmet is, with almost big bug-like gold and silver eyes under this cowl peeking out, and they're watching the room, and they immediately spot you. And there's that eyeball moment, kind of like in when Boba Fett gets spotted in Jedi. And he does the, you know, Buddy comes in, causes shit, and you get the one nod from the coolest guy in the room. This is the coolest guy in the room. And he looks at you guys, and instead of, like, getting ready for trouble, he just kind of gives you the nod, like, you know, okay, I see you, you see me, you know, see how this goes. Doesn't seem interested in trouble right now. I'm not saying the guy gives you permission, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's that kind of...
Well, yeah, just kind of like he recognizes who to shoot first.
Yeah.
If stuff goes sideways. And I'll give him the same nod.
All right.
And then move to the guys, give him the elbow. With a head that big, nothing's getting past this dude.
I think I can contend on that.
Okay. And Rahaul. Zin points out this guy in a corner, and sure enough, near this corner, there's a large table, and there's a hat. Oh, dude still has that god-awful, giant-brimmed, dark hat. Makes him stand out. Keeps the sun off him. You know, keeps his tan or paling humanoid skin from burning in this sun. Makes sense.
19 to remember his favorite drink.
Sure. This guy was always a sucker for straight up synth ale. You know, the stuff that's distilled down to, like, it's almost like drinking rubbing alcohol. The good news is it puts anybody that drinks with him under the table, but his unique, you know, two stomach, he can, like, hold liquor, just something internal, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I'll turn to Zin and actually, before I come in, I'll just tell TP to hang outside, keep an eye out for trouble.
Well, maybe this guy's getting soft because he's not facing the door. I'm not saying his back's to the door, but his, you know, you kind of got that over-the-shoulder side profile where he's sitting, or he's not looking at the door, he's looking at the table, right? Kind of looking at him at sort of... So if I'm him, he's kind of at, like, you know, this kind of angle. The door's there, and that's, you know... can I have, do you have any kind of underworld skills? Or even intelligence check or whatever?
All of my skills are underworld skills. What are you looking for?
Something of why he would do that, why he'd leave an opening, or why, you know... He's not one to get soft.
Social sciences, maybe?
Sure.
What do I got? 24.
Okay. He's probably not alone. He usually works alone, but if he's opened himself up where he's not watching the door, that means he either has a crew or at least some kind of bodyguard.
Okay, so with my initial perception of the place, was I able to pick out his guy on the side?
It's probably one of the guys hunkered down pretending to do nothing at the bar, or that badass that's standing out in the corner that Frank pinned out.
Okay.
Would be likely. He's not one to run a big crew. You know, he gets like a partner or two, and then, you know, sooner or later rubs them the wrong way. He's not someone that runs with like a heist crew of 5 or something and says, "Damn it, you son of a bitch, I'm in." You know, nothing like that.
Damn it, you son of a bitch,
yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah. He only ever has like 1 or 2 guys that, you know, can back him or whatever. Not more than he can handle. But I'll leave the most interesting things about this fellow for when you get there. So, let's go and meet Ramagilligar. The scene transfers over to the table where there are 5 guys in mining suits, 2 random aliens, and your guy in the hat. So you've got 8 people at the table, and they're, sure enough, they're playing Sabacc. One of the oldest, hottest Star Wars poker, one might, right? If Pizak from Kotar from Old Republic is like Star Wars blackjack, I would believe that Sabak is more a line of sort of a poker from what we've seen from the movies. So here he is. He's playing, you know, and there's the reactions, you know. Some people are going, yeah, haha, it's mine, and another round in, and
is there an empty table nearby? Not
Sure.
at their table, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll direct the guys to a nearby table, go up to the bar, grab a round of drinks. Before I go, I'll ask Zin and Poser what they'd like.
Okay.
Yeah. Zin will take whatever's offered up. He'll drink. He's no stranger when it comes to
Did you want to
shady
get a Zinthal?
drinks. Or...
Did you want to get?
Yeah. Well, not for us, but I'm gonna get one for him and get something that's not gonna put us into a coma.
Yeah, I'll just take some
poisonous?
water.
Poser.
Oh, he's still
After-
hungover.
Yeah, I know. That.
After last time, I should not touch.
And I mean,
the
with a head
sauce.
that big, imagine the headache. You know.
Brutal.
I think we covered
Pardon me.
the massive hangover last game, right? It was like, oh, my head.
I feel like those stormtroopers. I mind melt.
right?
All right, so I'll go to the bar, get a synth ale, a water, and a bottle of something mid-grade for Zin and I to share in a couple glasses.
Okay. So you guys get all this stuff. You park it at a nearby table,
Yep.
and what? Just observe them for a while.
For a few minutes, see where they are in the game.
Okay. You're watching, and it's kind of like a game of an elimination, right? The players all play, and when they run out of money, they'll get pissy and probably leave the table, or they can just like, okay, they're out of that round. They fold up, and it's down to like fewer and fewer and fewer, right? So this is what happens: is two of the miners run out of cash, and they get pissy and they get up and they just leave the table, right? So this leaves 3 miners and 2 aliens. And they're intensely going around, and there doesn't seem to be any big winner. They up the bets, it goes back and forth kind of thing, and then somebody pulls a card and it like divides the pot and kind of keeps people in, and you know,
Yep.
they all seem to be interested in the long game. None of this, haha, I took all your money, goodbye, and you know, be pissed off, right?
Yep.
And in a very short amount of time, okay, one of the aliens gets eliminated. He doesn't leave the table, but he just kind of like, I got nothing, folds, like, you know, just doesn't like his cards and keeps, you know, waiting to get in later, right? And one by one, the miners are, you know, picked off, as it were. And then you're down to 3 players. Your guy, an alien with a great big huge nose, little tiny eyes looking left and right, and one of these miner workers. And suddenly the game gets intense, because the miner pushes all of his money, and he says, you see that there? That is 4 cycles worth of wages. And I'm betting that what I've got in front of me here is going to take everything you lads have got in front of you. Who's in? The alien with the big nose just kind of grunts, flips a card to prove that that he's down or whatever, and pushes not all of his money, but what he needs to stay in, and says, Maruzaruga, which basically, you know, I'm in. And all the heads turn to your guy. Your guy just sits back, stretches his shoulders, and they just kind of wait for him to say what he's going to do. May I introduce cameoing tonight, Corey Chazon from, well, he's dabbled in most of our shows, an old gaming buddy of mine from back in the day, playing let me just make sure I get this straight, a Kujari? A Kodra G. A Kodra G, which basically looks like a person with some interesting extras, but we'll get to that in a second. Ramagilligar, could you describe your character, what he looks like, and what he's doing?
Well, gentlemen, welcome to the show. and I'm happy to be here. So you are basically looking at a 4-armed humanoid-sized person who has obviously 4 arms, a fairly large head, large body, pointy ears. And I'm currently dressed all in black with a multicolored full-length duster-like coat on, my hat, and a pair of sunglasses. Probably fairly pale skin, dark-colored eyes, no facial hair that you can see. And I think that's pretty much all for now.
You say something about the big wide brim hat and some kind of bandolier going on?
Yes, I did. I need the big wide hat because, well, I like to blend in as much as I can, and I like my big wide hats to keep my head out of the sunshine. And my bandolier, well, you never know what you might find in my bandolier. I do have 4 arms, and I'm ready, willing, and able to do what I need to do when I need to do it.
Okay. So, Rahaul, can I have a perception check, please? And can I have a deception check from Mr. Ramagar?
13, but 13 perception.
Okay.
Oh, not very good. Number 7, sir.
It says 17.
He's got a plus.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Nope. I guess I have a big plus,
Yeah, a big plus.
apparently.
So, it looks like he's got his 2 secondary arms coming out and just kind of stretching and scratching his sides. That's all it appears that he's doing. You know, totally not, reaching for anything, card or weapon related.
Never. I would never do anything like that.
Bringing his cards up and, pausing for effect. Are you in, or do you fold, Mr. Gill?
Oh, we take everything we have and we shove it all into the middle of the table. I am in, sir.
Excellent. I've got, and he, lays out his cards, right? And I'm just gonna roll percentage as of, like how good his hand is compared to somebody else. And gets 58. I don't know why it's showing 28. Oh, sorry.
You rolled it twice.
Oh, I see. All right. So he shows you his cards and he's like, 3 jabak, which is only worth like 20%, 28% of a hand, right? And he says, but with that juka. And he flips the last card, and that's 58% chance of winning, counting on you guys having shit all. Turns towards the big nose alien, and the big nose alien is like, Uba, Uaga, Kapla. And he just holds up like a pear, which is complete shit. And everyone looks at him wondering why he's got his, put his money in. And then he shows you guys the rest of his cards. And just edging out the other guy at 59%, he says, Kujak, aha. Which basically, yeah, I got a Kujak too, but the one I have is wild, so it just beats the miner's card. He's all happy with himself and slowly starts reaching for the pile. He doesn't take the credits, but he has his hands up and looks over at the wide brim hat man as if like, go ahead, stop me. What do you got? Ramagilligar, can you roll percentage dice once and then dramatically twice? So on the side there should be, you see the dice. You should be able to pull down a drop menu
D100.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you hover over the dice on the little icon, go down to D100 and just click it.
Nice. The icon over here on the left. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You hover over it, it'll pop down.
Oh, there we go. D100.
Oh,
Oh. Well played, sir.
Now, without saying what your number is, can I have a little, what would your character say? Pulls down his shades. We're also podcast. You can tell me what you're doing as well as do it.
Tipped my hat. Is that really all you've got? Pushes my glasses back up and lays down my cards.
The alien immediately swears and throws down his cards as Corey rolled 92%, which basically blows our hands out of the water, and he takes the entire pot without even have to. Where'd you get the cigar from? The third hand bringing a cigar up. Nice touch. Corey, I gotta give you a force point right off the bat just for that prop. While I was explaining how the aliens are being pissy, Rag McGilligar, with his third hand, wasn't scratching for a card, wasn't scratching for a gun. He's just getting his victory cigar ready, his victory mega death stick, pops it in his mouth, and with the fourth hand lights it.
and at the climax of him laying the cards down, I'll stand up with the synth ale in my hand, look at Zin and Poser, and just say, "I'll be right back." And while they're all like raging, and he's doing his like thug life pose, the cigar, the blood flies in.
Okay.
I'll set the drink of synthol down. Ramagilligar as I live and breathe. Terribly sorry for interrupting your game.
No interruptions, good sir. And how you be these days?
So, guys, I'm gonna stop you there. I would like that second percentage roll from Raul McGilligar, because he still has a card that's covered. You're supposed to play the entire hand, right? It's 56, and you count the entire hand. He managed to bluff them that there's no way there'd be a card that could, undermine what he's doing, right? And the miner, goes for that card and starts saying, interrupts you guys, you didn't show us your entire hand. And he's pointing at the card you have yet to flip over. Now, with a 56, it's going to lessen your hand because it's under what they rolled, right? It's not enough to make you lose the pot, but it is enough to make you have to sort of split half of it with the two of them and keep them in the game.
And before he goes to flip the card, I'm just going to look at the guy and say, "What are you talking about? He could have the worst possible card ever, and he's still going to beat you. Don't be a sore loser."
Can I have persuade?
You sure can. Come on, Dice, be nice to me.
Yes, please.
Ramagilligar, I'll let you decide how well you remember.
30!
The guy just looks at you and stalks off. Grabs his drink and walks off. Pushes past you. Gives you the shoulder. Ramagilligar, I'll let you decide what kind of terms you left Rahaul on. How much you trust him. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Who owes who money? But it has been a long time since you've seen this guy. He was a war profiteer. Actually, sorry, his father owned droid factory installations. They got in with the separatists, and Rahaul was in charge of some of the lesser details, but his family was into war profiteering and weapons dealing for the wrong side of the war. War's over, his side lost, and here this guy is, a little bit years older, looking just as scampy, not dead.
better dressed.
Yeah, better dressed the last time you saw him. His old
Rahul-
man's a piece of work. I'll tell you that. You don't like. No one likes his dad. Like you don't like his father. His dad's a real.
Rahaul doesn't like his father.
But I'll let you decide. So please, sorry, gentlemen, continue.
Rahal, old buddy, how did you make out with that last set of gear that we sold you?
I probably would have gone better if the war had, but you know, you win some, you lose some. I got out of the arms business though a while ago. Tried to make myself a path and resources.
Resources. I might know some people that can help you with these things.
No, I'm sure you do, Ramagilligar.
Oh, you know how it is. I know so many people.
You know everybody. And speaking of which, and I'll just look at anybody who's still sitting at the table. I'm just gonna need to borrow him for a minute.
Okay.
I'll pick up his drink for him. Grab your earnings and come sit with me and my friends.
Okay, Ramagilligar, you've got a guy in the room that basically you're paying. He's like on your retainer to protect you because you're wanted in several systems, yada yada yada, and you get tired of looking over your shoulder, so you can't have your fun with your game. So you've hired this soldier, this marksman, to sort of cover your ass. And as long as you're on a winning streak, you can afford him. But if your money runs out, he's gone. He's here in the room right now. He's played by Joe Gibson. So what I want to know is, do you signal this your bodyguard to that everything's okay, or are you giving him a signal like, let's see how this plays out, or are you giving him a signal like, get me out of this, because he can cause distractions, he can, you know what I mean, if you don't like where this is going, you can signal your guy to conveniently cover you to get you so you can run for it, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, with hand number 2, I'm going to take my glasses and just set them on top of my hat,
Okay.
much like this,
Yeah.
which will send a signal to my buddy over there that he should maybe be on his toes and pay attention in case I need some help.
Okay. Now, without the players knowing, I'm not going to say it's the guy at the bar. I'm not going to say it's the guy in the corner. But the scene reveals who you're signaling, because this person doesn't nod or whatever. But Joe, your new character. Should I say?
He's not a gun bunny, Jeff.
I know. But
Does he have really good persuasion skills? Because
I hope so.
No. Ramagilligar hired you for several things, but right now today's job is just cover his butt, even if you just got a sidearm, that kind of thing, right? So he's got you playing the part, didn't like what you were wearing, bought you this stupid looking poncho that makes you think you look ridiculous. He says you look all badass and you'll fool half the galactic wannabes, doesn't like your buggy eyes, and got you a hood and all this kind of, like dressed you up for the part and gave you today's, job is watch his ass in the wrong side of town. So there you are. Let's talk about the real character, starting with your name that I cannot pronounce.
Babish. But you can't pronounce that, Jeff?
I'm looking Vabush Mool. And it's like, there's no way that's Vabush Mool.
That's Babish. That's an E, not an O.
I don't see a vowel. The vowels are on the front. Anyway, it looks like Vebesh to me. But anyway.
There you go. You can stick with that. At least that's a little closer.
Mr. Mool, could you describe your character, please?
Sure. Without the poncho?
Yeah.
And everything else that you just described?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. For I am a Gant. Anybody knows what the Gant is?
Anyone?
No?
No? Come on, no?
No. They are...
Do you want to tell him what movie he's in? There's a Gant.
Sure.
There's a Gant in Empire. He's one of the bounty hunters. He's a little short. He's a little short, bug-looking dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, buggish type looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
With beady eyes, a breathing apparatus. Like majority of aliens now, who cannot breathe normal air.
M-class planet oxygen, right? You need something in the mix.
I need something poisonous.
Yeah, bug spray. Oh, that's good stuff. Just push the button and it's a hit. Oh, there you go. Oh.
Oh, are those the dudes that are on Bespin that take apart C-3PO?
No. This is
Yes.
he hires the bounty hunters, right? And there's Boba Fett. Vader's going down the line, right? And there's a big lizard guy, and there's this little short bug guy in kind of like a schmuck greenish outfit with a very long thin rifle, and he's got great big huge buggy eyes and the big apparatus on his face for breathing.
Oh. There you go. It's posted. Somebody can like. Thank you, Court.
You're welcome.
But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. You do not see any weapons on them. That helps. No big blaster rifle, nothing like that.
It's all part of your cover.
Yeah, it's all part of the cover. And the neat thing with the Gand is that they speak their own language. They use a translator to speak basic. So they speak in a weird manner. So when we get to that part.
Okay. And he gives you the signal. You know, to you it's incredibly obvious. Like half the guys in the cantina probably knows he's up to just, takes his glasses. Oh, so suddenly rides him up to the top, and you're just like,
I really need to find a better employment.
there we go. So yeah, big fly, multi-hexagonal eyes, big dark, several ridged, like the guy's got too many eyebrow bones coming up the side of his head, and this huge round with hoses coming out of it apparatus so he can breathe stuck right over the front of his face. Who knows what's under there? Is your Gant. And aren't these the guys always talk in the third person?
Yes.
Are they from some kind of hive collective, or?
No, because their whole species is they do not. They're like a collective.
Okay.
Right? They all go by the home name, which is Gand, until they do something that gives them a name.
Oh, cool. So you're worried that your actions with this moron might give you the wrong name one day in your eyes of your people?
Yeah, and get reverted back to Gand.
Yeah. It's probably a hobby. I can just see Rem Gilligar like trying to name you every day. Hey, we did this today. How about we call you this? Right? Hey, we did this today. Let's call you that. Anyway, so Rahaul, you're taking Gilligar over to your table to sit with the guys?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so introductions?
So I bring him over, set his drink down, the empty spot, sit down myself. Ramagilliga, these are my two good friends, Zin and Posa.
Okay. Gilligar, you see right away who stands out the most is probably the young Syrian, the large cone head. He's wearing all kinds of makeup, face piercings, ripped clothes. He's youthful, and has some interesting weaponry on his back. But his body language speaks to you. Can I have a perception check, please? Call it out.
Looks like I have a 3.
Okay.
If you check in the chat, it gives you your modifiers, and you actually got a total of 6.
Oh, very nice. I have a 6.
Okay. Hard to get a read on this guy. You can tell he's kind of shifty, like he's uncomfortable. He's changing his posture. So he won't settle into like being comfortable or being on edge or just being calm. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like a myriad of whatever seems to go through this guy's mind is reflected in his body, and it's really hard for you to get a read on this guy. Can I have another perception check for the other gentleman? Zin, did you lose the aqua poncho? What are you sporting right now? You actually look like the picture where you're like in the tack gear.
Yeah, kind of look like that. You know, it's just a little bit of urban camouflage, some glare goggles that are probably kind of lifted up and out of the way by now.
Yeah, your regular deep spacer. And are you carrying the ex-wife?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
That will have been kind of, just tipped up against the wall while, just sitting here idly drinking in close reach.
Okay. The man, Ramagilligar, is a mask. Unreadable. Stone cold. Doesn't give off a dangerous vibe. Almost gives off a vibe like you'd overlook him.
Even with my roll of 20?
Even with your roll 20. But what he can't hide is the weapon. Old school, highly trained. This is a ancient slug thrower, and only people that have like sort of a signature weapon use it. So here's a guy that's used to flying under radar, used to not standing out, used to being looked over by people, but he can't hide this awesome, unique weapon, which probably means he's a very, very skilled either marksman or, you know, someone left over from the war. You know what I mean?
So a perception of 15 to kind of get a read on Rama as he sits down, and do I notice him eyeballing the ex-wife?
He seems open and interested in the people in front of him. He's happy he won. He's having his calm victory smoke where his eyelids are half shut in front of him. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like breathing it in.
Well, you know, as he sits down, I'll be like,
confident. The man radiates confident, which also kind of backs up your idea that he's probably got a man in the room covering his ass.
no problem. I'm not worried. Yeah, so as he sits down, I'm going to say, you know, I hate to do this to you, because we could probably reminisce for hours over some cups, but really what's brought me to seek you out here is you still running some of that restricted tech these days?
I'll very calmly reach for my drink and take a long swallow. Rahaul, my friend, you have some very interesting acquaintances, I see. Some equipment there that I haven't seen in a very long time.
Indeed, that's actually what's brought us here. I'm trying to find some accessories for my companion's weapon, and as you probably have guessed, it's not something you could exactly grab just off the shelf anywhere in this neighborhood.
You know, I've waited a long time to ask this question. How do you feel when somebody is eyeballing your ex-wife?
A little bit of pride, because I know, you know, these aren't a dime a dozen like the old energy blasters that are sitting in, you know, half a dozen hips in the room. I'll turn as I see his eye kind of looking at it. I'll nod. Yeah, it is what you think it is. This here, it ruins things downrange. But really what I'm looking for is something a little smaller, if you know what I mean. Carry on the hip, but a slug thrower nonetheless.
I love how Frank ignored my joke, and Aiden's giving me victory cheers off the mic in the back. Sorry, please continue, gentlemen.
Well, I take my first two hands and crack my knuckles. Well, sir. Draw a very long off my cigar. What exactly might you be looking for? I can probably find you a few things. I know where there are some toys.
A decent calibered slug thrower with a little something in the make it quieter department.
Ah, you're looking for maybe a little something in the suppression technology.
I am.
How deep are your pockets, sir?
Well, I'm not looking to spend more than 1,300.
13. You're looking for a weapon and a suppressor.
Well, I can't really go packing this thing around. She's moody.
Sounds like a woman I used to know. I think we can probably do something. Do you have a particular weapon in kind?
Slug throwers. That's kind of my style.
Just a slug thrower, eh? And how
When
quick would you...
when I send somebody a message, I like to leave a little piece of me behind.
Apparently you do, sir. How soon are you looking for this piece of equipment?
Rahaul, how much time we have here?
Well, we got a couple more days of arrangements to make before we get off of this dust ball, but in all honesty, the sooner the better, my friend.
Well, I'll have to reach out to a few people that I know, and I'm sure by this time tomorrow I can find you what you need. Might cost you a little more than 1,300 though.
Well, see what you can do. Rahaul, talk to the guy.
Just then, the doors swing open, and 5 men enter the room, looking for
No
trouble.
warning from my droid that's watching for trouble.
Hang on. Hang on. These guys walk in, right? Remember the miners come in groups? Right? So to your droid, fresh off the line, I see miners. They're not armed. They're just, more miners coming in. Now, as soon as I hear what he has to say, then you actually would very likely have your droid come in behind in a flanking position, or if you want to calm, you know what I mean? But it's not like these guys get out of a tank. It's not like they give signals.
Oh,
and
okay.
cover,
Just a rowdy group of
right. They don't.
miners.
They don't cover the exits. They don't. The droid doesn't see weapons. None of these telltale signs. Just a bunch of guys roll up on bikes and just get off and look like they're ready for a good time. They're just rougher looking, but meatbags all look the same to to TP, right? So like I said, 5 guys come in the room, but you guys can all tell immediately they're looking for trouble because they enter, they fan out in a wedge, and then they scope the room, obviously, and they don't care who sees them. And then the lead guy sees Ramagilagar, sorry. We got to shorten your name. Rama? Well, that's a casino in Canada. Gil? Gar?
Gil works.
Gil,
Let's go with Gil.
Call you Gil. Your friends call you Gil.
My friends call me Gil.
All right. They spot Gil. And a miner, frowns and marches over. And you just see...
And Poser stands up and gets in his way.
Okay. So halfway there, okay, other tables are just kind of getting up, taking their drinks, and they're not leaving, but they're just kind of getting out of the way, right? Poser goes to intercede.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Is there something I can help you with?
This miner just looks down at you. Out of the way, little man. I have business to attend with that one. And he, jabs a pointy finger right at Ramagil, who just sitting there happy, like, do, nothing going on here.
While surreptitiously, my third and fourth lower hands are very quietly reaching underneath the table behind my back.
Yep. Going for Doogie and Hauser?
Well, something like that.
Well, these young little pistols can fix anything, They're surgical precision, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
And as a classic Star Wars scene is about to play out, gentlemen, we will see you next time on We Shot First. Say goodnight, Gil.
Good night, folks.
He took a moment to stuff the cigar and put the glasses back on.